But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven.
We're living in a time we're gonna meet Yahweh Shai. You're gonna meet him face to face, which is proof also that we have to be changed. We can't meet the Lord like this. He's gonna change you, he's gonna crown you, and he's gonna toast with you. Sometimes when Akim are among each other, we'll do little small toasts. Brothers may be like La Yasharala, holding up cups. But imagine the Lord himself hosting it, man. And we join in. And I was reading something else, and pretty much they said in order to have what they call a loyal toast, you will use wine. That's the beverage of choice. And once again, our Lord, he's coming back. And we're going to see him with all that power, man. But he's going to extend that power to you.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with God. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
And once again, when our Lord returns, he's going to wield that power to you elect as well. Once again, he's going to change you, he's going to crown you, and he's going to have a toast with you. A kingly toast, which will basically be a celebration for victory over the beast, victory over this system, victory over Edom Rome coming back, and Edom Rome's mark, which will be that Karag. So we're going to celebrate with our Lord Yahweh Shai, and honestly, there is no telling what all he has in store for us.
Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, we would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. We the brothers out in GMS Mississippi camp. And what we want to get into today, all right, dealing with the Tuesday night live stream. It's going into, all right, the USA, okay, aka Babylon and Great, all right, is no longer, a superpower, and what's happening, when you look at great athletes, boxers or football players, a lot of times they the last ones to know that they ain't got it anymore. You see certain great players, try to hang around, past their prime, still think they got it, all right, until the new wave, okay, of superstars push them out the game. Well, this is what we're seeing with America, all right, and the Lord is going to allow, these other nations, all right, to remove America, all right. We're seeing the transition with these other nations removing America from super their standalone superpower, all right, to being irrelevant. Okay. But the difference with this is Yahweh Shai is coming to make all these nations irrelevant, which we'll get into towards the end. Okay. But we got a video we want to get into, all right, but we're gonna set the foundation, with a few precepts, and Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters are edified. All right, you got it, bro. You get that Job 14:5, Papa Shah.
Come on, I got you.
Come on.
This is the book of Job, chapter 14, verse 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed bounds. He bounds like thou has appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Yeah, so we have to understand, that the Lord appointed, okay, bounds, all right, for the devil. Let's get that word bounds, Papa Shah.
Yeah, it's in the
You
spirit,
know,
bro.
yeah, I figure you going for it. Yeah, but going into it, the Lord has put a limit, a boundary on this man's rulership. Okay, and Esau has reached his boundary. Okay, and that's why we're seeing all the symptoms, okay, of this man reaching his limit. Going back to those, those Hall of Fame athletes. Well, they don't just, become washed up overnight. Well, they start to show symptoms. Certain things they can't do anymore. Okay, that they used to excel at. Okay, they can't play as many minutes. So you're starting to see, okay, he's reaching that point. Well, we see this with America. Okay, the reach that America used to have. Well, America doesn't possess their reach anymore. Okay, as we're going to get into the video, it doesn't have the pull that it once had. Okay, and America is still, trying to throw his weight around. Okay, like it's still in its prime, but it's not. America had a hell of a run. Okay, but all these nations have a limit. All these heathens have a limit to their rulership. But you got it, bro. You found something in there.
Con. It said this is the word bounds in the Hebrew. All right.
Strong's H 2706. Hulk. Hulk.
Con. All right. It says it's a few things. It says statute ordinance. It says limit. All right, limit. And then it says something prescribed or do, but we're gonna drop down here to number 5. It says prescribe, limit, or boundary.
Prescribed limit or boundary. So there's already, because prescribe, means to what? To right before. To before, scribe, right. All right. So America, all right, already had a prescribed rulership. It was written in existence by the Most High, and it had a beginning and the end. And this only not this doesn't only mark the end of America, but the end of Esau Edom. Okay, this is the end of Esau's Edom reign in the earth. Okay, America is just going to be that great example of destruction to mark Esau's end. Okay, because America has been, matter of fact, it's gonna segue right into that Jeremiah 51. You found something else, bro?
Give me 1 second. I got it. It says judgment. Place I did. Okay, I got one more for you, bro. Quick chat GPT search. I'm gonna get right to the point on it and bring it up.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
Some of it went off a little bit, but it got on point on the second one. I just typed in real quick. I said, what does the Bible mean when it says the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, of course, has set bounds he cannot pass? All right, number 2 was on point. It says the Most High sets limits on evil or judgment. In other places, this idea also implies the Most High has set boundary on how far evil can go. For example,
Oh yeah.
Satan was limited in what he could go ahead.
Nah, this is spirit. Nigga, that just uh I thought some precepts when you said that the Lord had put bound on how much he's gonna let wickedness go. And America has been the the, the platform for wickedness in the earth. You know, the wicked cultures that exist in the earth, well, they all have their roots, okay, in American culture, okay, because this is the home of Satanism. A lot of things that were banned, okay, in the world, okay, well, they was able to come here. You know, these different mysticism doctrines, and rituals, and Freemasonry, and all these different secret societies, and witchcraft. And see, they was able to come to America, okay, and be establishment. You see, so America represents, okay, the the source, okay, of this wicked society that we see in the earth. You know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Get that real quick in Second Ezra's 15, and you can start at verse 5. Bible Shah.
Second 15. I got you.
Yeah, get Second Ezra 15:5. Because that was a great point. How the Lord allows wickedness to go so far. Okay, in America, as the superpower, the earth, the leader, the influence of the world, has done nothing but influence the earth and wickedness, man. Like I say, we're gonna get this, and then you go right into that Jeremiah. You see how the spirit,
Mm-hmm.
worked that Jeremiah in the. Yeah, you got it, bro.
This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, and verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
Yo, so the Lord is getting ready to bring judgment. Okay, and the major part of the Lord's judgment is the destruction of America. Okay, America is going to get the brunt of the Lord's anger. You see, most of
Mm-hmm.
the Lord's anger is reserved for America, man. Okay, and this is why we in the spirit now. The Lord not playing. Like these niggas talking about troops in the neighborhood, or you know, Eve, EBT card getting declined. See, that's gonna be the least of these niggas' problem. Okay, nah, we coming into a whole new era of judgment, man. You got it, bro.
Con. Give me read down on it.
Yeah, read down. Yep.
Verse 6. For wickedness had exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled.
Yeah. So going back to your point, the boundaries. The Lord has a boundary to to where He was going to allow wickedness to go. Okay. So it no though we're vexed, by the wickedness of what we see when we, look out into the earth. We know that okay, that it can't be too much longer. When you see the normal, all right, you see the cultural norms of society, how wicked they are, what's accepted. Okay, we know that okay, the Lord's not going to be long in judging this place, man. Okay, so the earth is reaching the bound, and see America, okay, was at the forefront, okay, on the front line of leading America. I mean, of leading the world, you know, to the bounds of wickedness, man. Okay, America fast track. America, you see, they got in the driver's seat, okay, as the superpower of the world, and they drove the earth straight into rebellion, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they drove the earth straight into this destruction, man. You see, so let's get that in Jeremiah 51. And it link in. Then we'll go to the video of brothers.
While I'm grabbing that one, bro, what you said, it made sense because the spirit this morning, you know, sometimes you just be like, "Fuck, man!" Like you just get tired of Babylon. And, it's the Lord has given us that comfort to know, okay, all we gotta do is just hold on, cause we know that it has to get to that certain point before Yahweh Shai come back. And that's a comfort knowing that we that much closer to being out here. Every time we look and we going into these news topics and brothers pushing out more and more edification through the grace and spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, it's very, very comforting when you had a moment like, damn, bro, I'm just ready to get the fuck out of Babylon.
Mm-hmm. It can't be too much longer. That's why we gotta look at it's a silver lining in everything. You know, everything has a silver lining in it. So like I say, we see this wickedness and and like I say, it's vexing, but we know, okay, Lord not finna allow this shit too much longer, man. You know, you look at the NBA boy concert, NBA young boy, whatever that nigga name, and you look at one of his concerts, okay, you look at the culture. There's so you look at TikTok and you see, just what's been normalized in society. And it's like the Lord. I seen a TikTok where Eve, it's already enough Eve turned into a panhandler, but she got the children out there begging for money with signs. Jake had to be like maybe 10 years old, but he got a sign, like a homeless person, man. You know, like nah, the Lord not finna keep allowing this to keep because each generation get worse, man. And we serve a just power, man. So it has to be a cutoff point. And America losing its power is a sign that the Lord's finna get ready to cut this shit off, man. What you got, bro?
God said we serve a just power, bro. And that's right because even in the midst of while we see all this being the Lord's controlled demolition in Babylon the Great, and He said, "My servants shall eat." My servants shall drink. In the midst of all this, we still go through our trials, but brothers got a roof over their head first and foremost. Brothers got food to eat. We seeing all this stuff going on, and the Lord has continued to keep His word and take care of us. And then we look back in the scripture, the Lord has a great track record of keeping His word and taking care of us when He say He's gonna do it. So how much more in these times that to come?
Come, bro. Yeah, let's get that Jeremiah 51:7.
Come, this book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 7, it says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Yeah, so the nations have drunken down the wine of Babylon. All right, so the Lord, He used Babylon, okay, to intoxicate the nations, man. Okay, so that's why you see, this anti-Messiah, all right, culture has spread throughout the world. Some nations more than others. Okay, but the Lord wanted to judge, all these heathens, man. So He allowed them to be intoxicated by the wine, the philosophy, the culture of Babylon. Okay, because America, all right, America's biggest export is its culture. Okay, it's not resources, tangible resources. It's a culture, it's an influence, showing you that that wine, okay, of America, all right, the doctrines, the philosophy, the culture, the lifestyle, okay, the music, the movies, the fashion, okay, what a man is, what a woman's supposed to be, feminism, all these things have gotten the nations, drunk, and these nations are mad. And see what's happening is these nations are going through this hangover phase, and they're like, man, this ain't it, you know. And as they're sobering up, hey, they're getting ready for war. All right, because if you you deal with a harlot, y'all having a good time drinking, kicking it, dancing. She telling you everything you want to hear. You like, yeah, I'm winning, you know. But then you wake up, okay, your car gone, your wallet gone, okay, your car, your bank account cleared out, and you like, God damn, you know. So you're sobering up. Shit, you booting up for war, you know. So these nations are going through their hangover phase, and they're seeing the results of a night out, okay, with the harlot. All right, and now they're preparing, okay, for war. Okay, what you got, bro?
Come on. The next one, it says, verse 8, it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be she shall be healed.
Yeah, so the Lord is making mockery. Take balm for America. Okay? As if there's a chance of this place being healed. But there's no chance. Babylon, all right, was meant to be a throwaway. Okay, the Lord used it, to be a hammer unto these nations. Okay, to allow the elites, to enforce their policies. Okay, throughout the earth. Okay, but now we're coming to a time, all right, where the Lord has done everything that He needed to do through America. America was also a punishment for us. But as the Lord has raised up a remnant to repent, well, now He's getting ready to deliver, okay, His remnant. So He doesn't need America to play, because America was like our holding cell, man. It was our prison house for our disobedience. But as we came back to obedience, well, guess what? The Lord finna close down, all right, this prison house known as America, man. All right, spiritual Egypt. Go ahead.
Verse 9. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto the heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies.
Yep, so her judgment had reached to the heavens. Okay, Esau, all right, this American, okay, empire, you see, well, now his case is to the heavens, because there's no heathen, that can judge Esau. Okay, and even these heathens is making this conglomerate, okay, this alliance, to go to war with the whore. Well, America, okay, he is building these heathens up to do that. You see, the case of America has made its way, to the highest courts, which is in the heavens. So the Lord is orchestrating the judgment for this place, and He's going to utilize the heathens, to do it. And ultimately, it's going to be Yahweh Shai. All right, it's going to put the finishing touches on America and on all these heathens, man. That's been in conglomerate with America, man. Okay. So yeah, we can segue to the video, and this is just a video going into how, it shows that American influence is not, what it used to be, and it's thus says the Lord. You got it, bro.
Come pulling it in.
Go on.
Once upon a time, the mere whisper of American displeasure could topple governments, redraw borders, or halt tanks on a dime. Washington wrote the trade routes through the WTO, stared down Moscow in the Cuban Missile Crisis, bombed Libya into submission, invaded Iraq at will, and treated the world as its playground. Now, in 2025, Donald Trump stands at a podium calling this a new golden age, boasting of the hottest country anywhere in the world.
And now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's not even close. We have the hottest country in the world. And it's an honor to use that, if you call it power or respect.
Yeah, and this is spirit. The devil says he has the hottest country in the world, and that's going to be literal. That's going to be literal. And so it's beautiful that the devil, all right, said that. You got it, bro.
Come, bro.
To whatever it is to settle wars.
Yet, the applause sounds faint. Ceasefires he claims to broker were never his. Allies eye alternatives. Enemies shrug off sanctions. Even friends, if there are any, doubt his word. America still has bases everywhere, but power everywhere? That's a different question. Is this the moment the self-styled superpower discovers nobody's really listening? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan.
Imagine bringing your side project to life just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
President Trump keeps insisting America is still number one, largest economy, strongest military, one war a month peacemaker. But beneath the slogans lies a different story. A country retreating from multilateral leadership, shrinking its global footprint, and turning inward. Obama's cautious recalibration, Trump's transactional deals, and Biden's muddled commitments have unraveled decades of US foreign policy. Countries once obedient now hedge, build new coalitions, and search for American alternatives. When Russia was thrown out of the G8 over Crimea, Washington expected the world to follow. It didn't. If America can't rally allies on Russia, Israel, or Ukraine, how much power does it really have left? There really was a time when America could credibly call itself the unchallenged superpower. The Cuban Missile Crisis, Washington imposing a naval blockade on Soviet missiles in Cuba, was not only a showdown but a global stage where US deterrence and alliance credibility seemed absolute. Libya in 2011, Iraq in 2003, even the creation of the WTO in 1995, all projected an image of a country able to set rules and enforce them. But those moments are now museum pieces. They remind the world not of enduring omnipotence, but of how far the shine has faded. The US still spends more on its military than anyone else, yet its ability to dictate outcomes is slipping away. Trump's current rhetoric tries to freeze frame that earlier era. He points to expanding military budgets, strong borders, and aggressive tariffs as proof of renewed supremacy. He calls the US the hottest country anywhere, yet the actions undercut slogans. He's withdrawn from international agreements, sidelined NATO consultations, and moved toward bilateral deals that leave allies guessing. Analysts describe a transformation from unrivaled global leader to a powerful but increasingly regional actor. America has bases everywhere, but policy nowhere. That gap between hardware and influence defines the Trump era. We had an exclusive conversation with veteran journalist Rick Sanchez.
And let's get there real quick in Psalms 33. I want to say 16. Because as it says, America still has all these bases. It's constantly increasing its military budget, okay? But its influence to control policy and its ability to sway, okay, battlefield outcomes, because all the military bases that America has and the military budget that America has, well, it can't sway, okay, Ukraine to get the best of Russia. It still can't sway those small hats, to eliminate Iran. Okay. So how much power does America has left? Because back in the day, America, they would have had boots on the ground and ended, these ongoing conflicts swiftly. But see, America doesn't possess, okay, that power that it once did. And these nations have, as America is becoming weaker, the Lord is allowing these nations to become stronger, man. So let's get that in Psalm 33 and 16. You got it, bro.
I got a quick search for you too. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 33, and verse 16. It says, "There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength."
Yeah, so it doesn't matter about the military spending. All right. How many aircrafts? Okay, the military has aircraft carriers. Okay, how many Tomahawk missiles? Okay, or those Hellfire missiles, whatever. Those don't matter when it comes to the will of the Lord. Okay, so America can just keep throwing money, okay, at this war machine, but it's still not going to, all right, deter prophecy, man. Okay, and it's still finna go down exactly how the Lord said it's going to go down, man. Okay, through fire. Go ahead.
Verse 17. "And horse And horse is a vain thing for safety. Neither shall he deliver any by his great strength.
Yep, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. So America can keep pouring into, its technology, its military, its missiles, fighter jets, okay, its aircraft carriers, its, defense systems, and okay, they can even arm the different proxies and keep, arming the small hats, but it's still not going to deter the will of the Lord. Okay, so we see the devil trying to fight against the will of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, and it's not working, man. He's losing. All right, and that's the end goal for the devil is to keep losing. You see what you got, bro?
Let me can read now.
No, that was it. You can go. You say you had found some.
Quick search, just to back it up.
Yeah, you can get that.
All right, this is quick chat GPT search. It says what is the strongest country in the world from a stability point of view, because none of the other things matter if your country isn't stable. All right, it says from a stability point of view, the strongest country in the world is generally considered to be Switzerland. Other countries like Norway, Finland, Denmark, and New Zealand also rank extremely high, depending on how you define stability. And it goes into the stability. Usually includes political stability, economic stability, social cohesion, geopolitical neutrality, or security,
Neutrality. Yeah,
neutrality throughout it,
yeah, yeah,
security,
yeah, yeah,
resilience
yeah.
to crisis. But here, let me scroll down and listen. It says, what about superpowers like U.S. and China? It says the U.S. strong military and economically, but politically polarization. And we can get that word if you want to, bro. It says gun violence and social unrest reduce stability. So the U.S. These are the only thing. This the only thing that they hide in. But you got it, bro.
Yeah, yeah. And at the end of the day, all them European nations, they weak as water too. Russia finna run through all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and this is why we base everything on prophecy. All right, America is circling the drain. The EU is super trash. All right, they finna get ran through by Russia. Okay, and Yahweh Shah's finna come and destroy everything, man. Okay, because this whole beast system is getting ready to topple. Going back to that iron mix with clay. Okay, partly strong, partly weak. Okay, so this whole beast system headed by America and NATO, okay, is getting ready to be dismantled. Okay, through this war. Okay, so yeah, let's go back to that video, Bob. So.
And this is what he has to say about America's position today.
I guess we can't talk about this without talking about the root cause of the problem. And the root cause of the problem is that the United States is not the most powerful country in the world. Israel is the most powerful country in the world. And Israel runs the United States. Israel, remember that lapdog I told you about with the Mr. Modi story I said a little while ago? Where, Mr. Modi's trying to tell Mr. Trump, look, we're not your lapdog. And every time you say bark, we're not going to bark. And every time you say sit, we're not going to sit. And every time you say stand, we're not going to stand. Well, when it comes to the United States-Israel relation, Israel says bark, the United States barks. Israel says, stand, and the United States stands. And same with sitting, I guess. And that's the reality. And anybody who tells you differently is lying. If Mr. Netanyahu decides he's going to go to Congress and give a speech, there's nobody in the United States who can tell him no. If Mr. Netanyahu wants a reporter in the United States fired because he doesn't like what he said about him, that reporter will be fired. And I don't care if he works at the New York Times or CNN or Fox News or wherever. The United States literally runs the United States, Israel runs the United States foreign policy. It's as clear as day. It's the reason we invaded Iraq. It's the reason we were in Afghanistan. It's the reason we did what we did in Syria. It's the reason we're doing what we're doing in Yemen. It's the reason we did what we did in Libya. And it's now the reason that we're backing them 100%, what looks like an extermination or a genocide in Gaza.
The annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014 marked a turning point. The U.S.
and gonna sum up what he said, but I want you to skip ahead to let's go to the 10-minute mark. Baba Kasha. We'll play a little more, but just to bag up what they said. All right, so he was explaining how the small hats, the reason why America was in
Construction
Iraq,
workers just
America was in Afghanistan. Okay, and right now, what is America getting ready to do on behalf of Israel? To go to war with Iran. And this war with Iran is going to lead to war with Russia, with China, with India, North Korea, Pakistan. Okay, because that's that snare that the Lord got for Babylon to follow these small hats, okay, until this nuclear holocaust, man. Okay, because the land of Israel gonna get obliterated too. Okay, so America, is being this guard dog for these small hats is going to lead them to their complete annihilation, man. Okay, so just as this guy said, Sanchez, America has, been drugged into these wars and been drugged into this region, okay, of Western Asia, what they call the Middle East, okay, and it was always a path to this moment we're in now, so since the 90s, okay, so you're talking about, 35 years plus that America has been in their region, since Daddy Bush, okay, since that era. So 35 years of continual foreign policy of boots on the ground, okay, in the Middle East. Well, now it's going to lead to missiles coming back this way, man. That was always the setup. Okay. What you got, bro?
Elections bring back leaders it opposed. The aura of inevitability is gone.
construction workers just don't like paperwork.
They're right. With Connect Team's employee management platform, you can get digital reports.
Trump loves to brand himself as a global peacemaker, touting ending 6 wars and negotiating 1 war a month since returning to office. He name drops India, Pakistan, Israel, Iran, Yemen, Congo, Rwanda, even Cambodia, Thailand. But reality checks tell another story. The India-Pakistan ceasefire, announced by New Delhi and Islamabad themselves. Israel-Iran, fighting continued after Trump's claim. Yemen, actually brokered by Oman. Again and again, the deals are partial, temporary, or simply not his. Critics say he's more a press release peacemaker than an actual negotiator. This credit-grabbing feeds the perception of a fading superpower trying to narrate victories it can't deliver. In the past, US interventions, Libya, Iraq, showed unmistakable control. Today, even Washington's announcements are met with global eye rolls. When a president has to insist on his Nobel Peace Prize, it's not a sign of unrivaled power, but of waning influence. The chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan became a symbol of US credibility collapsing. Allies who fought alongside America for 20 years watched the abrupt exit with disbelief. Critics called it a retreat, not a pivot. The message to partners from Eastern Europe to Asia was clear. US security guarantees are not ironclad. That shadow now falls on Taiwan policy. Washington talks tough but offers ambiguous commitments. In a world of rising China and assertive Russia, ambiguity looks less like strategy and more like uncertainty. Meanwhile, US support for Israel increasingly isolates it from allies moving to recognize Palestine. By September 2025, about 147 UN members already recognize Palestine. France, Australia, Canada, and the UK are joining in. The US stands nearly alone with Israel, clinging to a diplomatic framework the rest of the world is discarding. Once the broker of Middle East peace, Washington now looks.
So yeah, you can stop it there, bro. You can get Jeremiah 49 and 14, and we'll read down, and then you can we'll get that second Ezra 6 and 9. Well, not second Ezra, yeah, second Ezra 6 and 9.
What
Well,
was that first one?
we'll get Jeremiah 49 and 14, and then we'll get Sirach 10 and 8, and then we'll get second Ezra 6 and 9. Oh yeah, you got it, bro. Get that Jeremiah 49 and 14. Yeah, because like she said, American foreign policy is isolating itself from the world, and it's just America, and the small hats. All right, because those Europeans, all right, don't offer much, you know, when it comes to military. All right, most of them can't do anything economically. Okay, so what we're seeing is America and these small hats being isolated. Okay, for this judgment. Okay, so you got it, bro.
Come, I got it. I got all three of them queued up for you.
Come, y'all good. Yeah,
Come,
I'll say we
this
started at 14.
14.
Yeah, started 14.
Come, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, starting at verse 14. It says, I have heard a rumor from the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and an ambassador is sent unto the heaven, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle.
Yeah, so the Lord putting the spirit, okay, on these nations to constantly gather together outside of American policy. Okay, you got the Shanghai Coalition, you got the BRICS, okay, you got all these alliances economically, militarily, okay, outside of the American influence. So that's why those sanctions don't have the impact that they used to have. Because America used to be able to sanction particular nations, and shit, they won't recover. You know, America used to put sanctions on your ass, have your president on minimum wage. You know,
So, I didn't know the camera was like that.
God damn. Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
why Syria failed, because them sanctions in Syria, man. They said Syria military getting paid $22 a month. You know, so that's why it wasn't even no fight when they took down the Assad government, because this nigga was getting $22 a month. So yeah, that's how powerful them sanctions used to be on these other nations. There's still certain nations that they can cripple, but see, these main players in this war, you see, they made alliances to where they got deals to where they not destroyed, okay, by these sanctions. They still, hampered in particular things, but they got workarounds now. Okay, you got it, bro. Verse 15.
verse 15. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men.
Yeah, small goes into insignificant. Okay, because once again, these nations see that there's a way to operate, okay, without having to go through America, man. America has been, the go-between. When you wanted to do any big business on a global scale, well, you had to deal with American banks, okay, American currency, okay, and you had to take on American policy. Because if you did, because see, with this social credit score that they're bringing to citizens, well, these nations been on that social credit score. That's why certain nations didn't do things that was to America liking. They could do what? Put those sanctions on you, freeze your assets. So these countries been on a social credit score. America weaponized the dollar. Okay, so these nations were like, well, look, we got to put something in place to where we're not reliant on America, man, because America, all right, they just do what the hell they want to do, man. They'll put them sanctions on us, and we'll be crippled. But now that these nations have these workarounds, man, America is not significant when it comes to global policy as it once was. Go ahead.
Con. verse 16, it says, Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the cliff of the rock, the cliffs, Salakia, the cliffs of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai.
Yeah, so these devils, they are deceived by their terribleness, because they was able to just throw their weight around the earth unimposed. Okay, they was able to dictate foreign policy. They was able to regulate other governments, for their favor. You see, I said they was able to sanction. They was able to threaten and make things happen. Okay, they was able to invade. Okay, they was able to project their military throughout the earth, build all these bases, and you see, so their terribleness have deceived them, to think that they had some invincibility. Okay, but the Lord has been chipping away at that. To now, America is looking vulnerable. Okay, go ahead. You can read.
Verse 17, it says, Also Edom shall be a desolate, every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof.
A desolation, which means complete destruction. Okay, there will be no infrastructure, all right, standing in America. Okay, it looked like it was never anything built here. It's gonna be a complete desolation, man. It's gonna be way worse than what they do in the Gaza. It's gonna be way worse. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 18, it's like it, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man, neither shall a son of man dwell in it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be uninhabited. There's not gonna be any survivors, okay, of the judgment that the Lord finna bring to America. And it says it's gonna be as the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah. So just like Sodom and Gomorrah, okay, is a because that's what it means, Sodom and Gomorrah suffering eternal fire. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's burning forever, but their judgment is forever. Okay, Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't able to come back. You can't go to Sodom and Gomorrah today. That don't exist. Their judgment, all right, and their time stands forever. And that's how it's gonna be for America. It's gonna be judged by fire, and it's gonna stand forever. It'll never, okay, be a place, all right, where human life dwells. Okay, just like ancient Sodom and Gomorrah, and it's gonna be known why. Just like when you think of Sodom and Gomorrah, you think of the conduct, the lewdness that led to, okay, their destruction, man. So America's gonna have their reputation of this is what disobedience and rebellion to Yahweh Bashim al Shai led to. You got it, bro. You jumped to verse 22.
Verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. I got the scriptures, bro. Yeah, come. Let me make it show. I'm gonna start over. Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, that he have taken against Edom and his purposes, that he had pursued against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of go ahead.
No, you got it.
Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them.
Yep. So surely the least of the flock, which is going to these small hats, because they're the last, colonization of Esau. 1948. So they was the last, area, that was colonized by these devils. They're the youngest state, okay, of this Edomite empire, man. Okay, so they're the least of the flock, but they're the ones that's going to draw or drag, okay, these major superpowers into this war, which is going to leave America as a desert. Okay, so what we're seeing is the least of the flock real time, okay, getting ready to draw, okay, America into this war that's gonna leave them desolate, man. And this is marking the transition of power as well. So let's segue to the Edris, not Edris, Sirach 10 and 8, and then we'll get the Edris 6 and 7. I mean 6 and 9.
Did you want that America being the desert? I had that one on standby. I know you said it, but we can skip past it if you want to.
Yeah.
Keep it
We
rolling.
just said, yeah. Just go to that.
6.
Sirach,
You want Sirach
get
first?
that Sirach 10 and 8, and then get that second Edris 6 and 7.
Yeah, I got the 6 and 7. I had the 10 messed up. My bad. Salakia.
You good, bro?
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach. Make sure it's up. Chapter 10, verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Yeah, so the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And then because of riches and injuries gotten by deceit. Okay. So this devil, he was blessed. The earth was given into his hand. Okay. But he got it through deceit and through the sword. Okay. So now the Lord is getting ready to transition, all right, from a wicked kingdom to a righteous kingdom. Okay. Because it says it's translated from one people to another. Well, that one people is the people of Esau that's ruling right now. And it's going to be transitioning to Jacob, Israel, man. And that's why you go to second Ezra 6. You can go to 9, jump to 9. Just get the point, because it's going to put a name on it. See, there's nothing that the devil can do to stop this transition. All this, transhumanism and digital ID and all these, what you call the CBDC, central bank, all these psyops and propaganda. This is all the devil's attempt to try to maintain power, to extend his rulership beyond their bound. But it's not going to happen. We're in that transition, man. You got it, bro.
Got you right here. So I'm moving too fast. This is second Ezra chapter 6. Scrolling down to verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Yeah, so this is where we at. This is where we at. America was propped up, okay, to be that superpower, to be that whore, that ride of the beast. And now we're at the point of the movie where these, their allies, all right, these EU nations, okay, and their rivals, these kings of the East, are finna burn the whore with fire. Okay, in the midst of that, Yahweh Shai, all right, is going to enter, okay, this realm, okay, and take down all these heathens and deliver his elect. And that's going to be the completion of the transition from Esau, all right, to Jacob. Okay. So America losing power is an indicator, that this is the end of the age, all right, of the heathen rulership, man. So that was the point, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to our younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Shalom.